Hello everyone, Justine here with the Bible Journaling Ministries creative team, and today we're using printables from Psalms 145:9, and these are available in the Bible Journaling Ministries store, or if you're part of Momentum, then you will have this as part of your kit. Our supplies that we're going to need today are wet glue or glue, scissors, colored pencils, brown and green, orange or yellow, and then some colored paper patterns that match for the animals that we're going to do. So we're doing the monkey and the elephant and the lion. So I picked paper with patterns that reminded me of those animals. And then I'm using also my these are paint pens that you can use in your Bible. So I just want to show you real quick that, see, the paper is patterned that I used for the animals. I used cardstock and just regular paper, whatever I had around that was left over or just had around for a while. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. So I decided not to cut out the part of how I first wanted to do the technique that I was going to do. So I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to show you the way that I actually did it. So this first part here, I thought that maybe taking a piece of cardstock and then kind of figuring out what patterns, what paper I wanted to use for each animal, and then I would just stick it on the cardstock, kind of like trying to place the piece of paper kind of where I thought that the animal would print. And then I was going to run it back through my printer. Now, I wasn't precise about this. I just kind of thought it would be probably a trial and error thing that I would do here. I've never really done this before, but I was like, oh. So what I'm doing here is, and I forgot to mention about tape. So I taped it down to the cardstock that I was using, or the paper that I was using. Now you see here that my idea sort of worked, but it wasn't really precise. So then what I figured I would do is just take the actual paper, I reprinted it, and then just took the paper and stuck it onto the printed, onto the printable itself. Therefore, it was going to go directly onto the printed paper. So what I'm going to do is run it back through, just print it again, the same piece of paper. My elephant is fine, so I'm going to keep him, so I'm not worried about him. So it's just the monkey and the lion. So I'm going to take this piece of paper on the right hand side, and I'm going to run that back through my printer and just reprint it, and it worked perfectly. So, and then I printed a third one just to have. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So now I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out manually, the old-fashioned way. I'm going to use my smaller scissors and then just go ahead and fussy cut through the bigger animals here. So on this particular page, I am using the bigger animals as opposed to the smaller ones for the margin Bibles, the Bible margins. So basically what I've done was cut 3 pieces of paper down to a size that I would be able to print the animals onto. I took the printable, just to kind of tell you again, I took the printable and I taped these colored pieces of paper onto the printable, and then ran it right back through my printer. Just be careful of the way that you run it through the printer. Pay attention to what side you're putting in and how it goes in. Then fussy cutting it. Remember when you, I don't know if you learned this, but when you're cutting with scissors, you're supposed to move the paper, not your scissors. I remember I learned that a long time ago. I thought that was pretty interesting. So I'm just using 3 of the animals. I just thought that they were cute, and by all means you can use the other ones. You'll just use the same process, kind of use the print out one page of the printable, tape on the papers you want to use, and then run it through your printer again, so that this way it's printing directly onto the paper. And then you'll just go through and cut. Kind of reminds me of Noah's Ark, these printables. So I have my 3 cutie patootie animals, and I'm going to use the vines in my Bible. I'm using the Illustrated Bible for these printables, so I know that already. I am not the best person. I don't use colored pencils a lot. I don't know why. Isn't it? It's weird that we all have our own favorite mediums to use, but what I'm using is a lighter green, and then I'm going to go over it with a darker green around the edges. And when I'm coloring, I like things to look organic, and I like them to look like as if they're in nature, and nature, has some white spaces, and it's not always perfectly colored, and so I leave different shades in the drawing. So I'm just using 2 different color greens. You can use as many as you want, and just kind of giving it a quick shading. And then I'm going to grab maybe 2 different color browns, not blue. I grabbed a gray too, because I just thought it would be cool maybe to add some texture to it. So I'm going to use the 2 vines on this paper, and then we're going to go ahead and on the page itself we're going to draw some more vines. I thought that would really look cool to kind of make it look like a jungle. I don't know if you heard that grunt. I just picked up Ozzy. Ozzy is our new puppy. All right. And I'm going to go through and just add the color to the twigs. So you can use colored pencil, you can paint it if you want, you can use marker, whatever it is that you want to use. I am going to use my Posca markers in the Bible when we go over there to color. just finishing up. The Lord is good to all, and his mercy is over all that he has made. Psalms 145:9. Isn't that awesome? Mercy, his mercy. It's always nice just to be able to have a little bit of time, extra time in the Word, and just think about how good God is and what he does for us and how we get through every day with his grace and mercy, right? So I'm in a fussy cut. And actually usually when I fussy cut, I usually leave a little bit of a white space. But I decided on these vines to cut into the black part because it's such a big, thick black line. I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to keep that part of it without any of the white. So it really just depends on the way you like to fussy cut. I think it's relaxing, the fussy cut. I remember when my children were in school and I would always ask the teacher, is there anything you need cut? Back in the day when we manually did it, I'm sure a lot of the teachers now probably use Cricut machines. Or die cuts. I'm sure a lot of teachers have the die cuts. Kindergarten was probably my favorite. That and art. Okay, looking pretty good. And I'll quickly here cut out the other one. I don't know, I like to trim mine down too. Instead of cutting it out of a big piece of paper, I have more, I don't know if it's because I'm left-handed or I just feel like more control. And it's funny, now that I'm watching this, my pointer finger likes to stick out. It's like a little tick I have. I was thinking, oh, I went pretty quick on cutting. I'm not that quick, and I realized I sped up the video for you because I'm like, wow, I'm doing pretty good at it. And if by chance you cut something off, you know what? It's okay. You can just glue it back on. Don't worry about, if you cut something. Nobody's going to know the difference. Just glue it on. Plus, like I said, we're going to add these to some more vines in our Bible. So you can actually separate this if you want it to, and you want it shorter vines. Actually, it might even look cute to actually maybe grab some twine too. I didn't grab twine, but that might be cute too to add in there. Depending, some people don't like to have their Bibles really thick, so I'm just gonna color up the sun here. I'm gonna use some yellow, and then I grabbed a little bit of pink for his little cheekies there, but by the end of it, I'm gonna actually cover mostly the whole thing. So there is a blending tool that you can use. We moved recently, so I'm not sure where my blending tool went to, but it looks cute in the end. I think I'm looking for that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm looking for my blending tool. Oh well. Looks like I'm shaking the table a little too. Again, you can use watercolor, you can use your plain up, straight up Posca pen, whatever it is that you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the sun. And the sun might be cute if you cut out a piece of, you know, a textured paper or a patterned paper, and do that too instead of just coloring it. Just a little bit of a different type of style technique too. I'm always looking for something a little different to add to my Bible. So, all right, let's clean up this mess and grab my Bible. And did you guys see that tutorial that I did over there on the page with the flowers? If you haven't seen it yet, you'll have to go check it out. We did embroidered paper. That was fun. Okay, so Psalms 145:9. I'm gonna show you how. Okay, so this is what happened. I realized that the recording wasn't going, and I had did the page, so I had to redo it. So this is the perfect way to show you that if you make a mistake in the Bible, just cover it up with some paper. Nobody's going to know the difference. So here I just took some regular paper, and I'm taking my Posca marker, and I'm just making vines. I'm using a brown marker, and you can go ahead and use your brown colored pencils if you don't have markers or crayons or whatever you have, or even just paint it. I think I personally like to use paint because of the way it comes out. I don't know. But, you know, making some swirls and some branches, different thicknesses of the branches. It doesn't have to be precise if you make mistakes. It's okay. I'm having a little issue with my paint marker. I'm also going to use some black and a white paint in my Posca to do some highlighting. You can actually use green too if you wanted to for the little twirly things, but when I think of vines in the jungle, I think more of branch brown. I don't know, I'm just trying to think of it. However you envision it. Now, if you also wanted to kind of be more detailed of where you wanted to place your animals, and then of course you can do that. But in my mind, I was okay with just kind of placing some branches around. Pretty basic branches. You can also trace, I guess, you know, the branches that are on the printable. Maybe take some carbon paper or maybe just draw it yourself. So going over the edges, you can trace the edges completely in black like it is on the printable vines, or I just kind of went through and highlighted some areas. I even thought, oh, maybe I'll just take my colored pencil to give it a little more texture, but then I was like, nah, not sure I liked it. I like the Posca a little bit better. And then I'm going to make some leaves. And you can use one color of the paint, or you can use 2 different greens, whatever you have around. I was trying to find my other green, but I can't find it. So I'm just going to do one color green, and then I'm going to go through with some black and white. Black and white highlights is what I was thinking in my mind. Do you guys, I don't know if how you are, but whenever I'm coloring or drawing, I don't know if it's because I'm left-handed, but I move my paper around. I don't know if you guys do that too. And the leaves don't have to be perfect. You just do the best that you can. Sometimes if you're learning how to draw, if you just take a pencil and kind of go over the printable a couple times, that your hand will get kind of used to the motion of the way the leaf is supposed to be drawn. And sometimes that helps. So you would continue on, and there I have. That's my first part of it. So like I said, if you make a huge mistake and you don't like something in your Bible, you can always just cover it with a piece of paper. So I'm adding black, and I am going to outline the leaves in the black and then add the center line like it shows in the printable. And I'm going to use the white as a little bit of a highlight. Just kind of, when I say highlight, I just kind of make white lines throughout I was going to say grapevines, throughout the vines. Just highlighting here and there. It's just a nice way to add a special touch to it. Very, not so intimidating that, you know, the drawing of it is so like terrifying. It's a great way to just kind of break yourself into starting to draw in your Bible and not be so afraid, because you don't have to draw your animals, not unless you really want to, but Tracy did that for us already. So there you have it. You can make as many vines, branches as you want. I just stuck in the margin part, and then I'm going to take the printable and kind of bring it over into the words. You can also do some texture or some, maybe watercolor in the background, maybe if you wanted to, or you know, make more of a background maybe on the right hand side or something. Make your own little jungle. Okay, so I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to glue on my animals and the verse. You'll see that in a second. And I hope that you enjoyed our little time together. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can be made aware of when there's new videos and tutorials coming out for you to enjoy. I love just the way that it kind of stands out, the printables. Just putting my elephant on, and then my lion, my wording, the sun, and then my little monkey. So don't forget to glue them down. I love it. I love the page. You can always add a little bit of accent. I go around and I my signature little swirls that I do around the outside of the page. But you can also add, like I said, some of the other animals. Maybe if you just want to even just color them and add them around, maybe in a grouping, you can go ahead and do that too. So enjoy your time with the Lord. I'm sure He's going to enjoy it with you, and stay in the Word. And until next time, I will leave you in God's hands. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.